Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is traveling to China in an attempt to ease tensions on a range of economic and security issues.
Trump-era sanctions on Chinese imports are still in effect, and the U.S. is now working to limit the country's access to semiconductors used in AI technology.
And we want to bring in Sarah Ewall-Wice. She's a CBS News reporter and here to break this down for us. Sarah, thanks so much for joining us. First off, what does the Treasury Secretary hope to accomplish with her trip to China?
Yes, Secretary Yellen is heading to Beijing for meetings with both senior Chinese officials and U.S. companies with business there. The goal of the visit is to discuss where the world's two largest economies can work together for a healthy economic relationship, as well as to address global challenges. But Yellen is also expected to talk about areas of concern with Chinese officials. There have been escalating tensions, as you mentioned, with China, in particular over the U.S. working to block Chinese access to some technologies. Yellen is planning to clearly communicate about actions being taken by the U.S. as it relates to national security concerns. A Treasury official said she will also not shy away from addressing human rights. This entire trip follows President Biden's directive to deepen communications between the U.S. and China last year after meeting with President Xi. Yellen has been saying she would like to visit China at the appropriate time.
What is the reasoning, though, Sarah, behind limiting China's access to semiconductor chip exports? Because it sounds like a very tall order, considering the influence and access that China has to resources.
So the United States is basically in a chip war, essentially, with China at this point in time. We saw chips were a huge concern during the pandemic when the import of chips was a challenge, and that led to dramatic issues in terms of prices and inflation. With that said, the United States slapped export controls on China, or on exports to China, dealing with this type of technology last year. They're talking about this in terms of national security concerns. There's basically the U.S. and China going up against each other in terms of a race for technology and moving forward. In response, though, China has slapped sanctions on a massive U.S. chip manufacturer. So the tension here has continued to escalate. I'm told by a senior Treasury official that the Treasury Secretary is likely to address the Chinese response, as well as just clearly articulate why the U.S. is taking the actions that it is taking in terms of national security so that they can move this dialogue forward without tensions escalating further. But of course, this is a very high-stakes meeting, and it's also going to be a challenge, as we've seen a lot of different parties at play here, and the U.S. and China both having multiple interests in this area.
Sarah, I want to talk about some issues back here at home. U.S. unemployment claims dropped by their largest percentage in 20 months last week. Do we know yet what we can expect from this week's job report?
Yeah, so while the U.S. has been really struggling with inflation, on the flip side of that, over the past couple of weeks, we have seen really strong labor market and jobs numbers. We expect further information on that later this week on Friday. We saw jobless claims actually tick up for several weeks recently, but then they dropped again last week. And it's really hard to look at an individual data point rather than the data as a whole. But we're not seeing major loosening in the labor market in response to interest rate hikes. There's been more of a gradual cooling, which is a good thing. It's a signal we're not as likely to see that recession, though there still remains some economic uncertainty. We will be getting, as I mentioned, several other pieces of data this week. Tomorrow, we'll be getting job openings and initial unemployment claims reports that will keep looking at to see where things are headed. And then again, as I said, on Friday, we get the June jobs numbers. The last few months' reports have been stronger than expected. The expectation is around 225,000 jobs were added last month.
Yikes. But Sarah, I wonder if strong jobs numbers mean the Fed is likely to kick up interest rates again. What's your view?
So the strong jobs numbers have given the Fed confidence in its actions. And, you know, they have been largely focused on the price stability side of their dual mandate right now. Bringing inflation back down to that 2% target goal is what they're really focused on. Right now, we're expecting 2 more interest rate hikes this year, but the timing on those is uncertain. We're actually expecting to get more insight into their thinking on this afternoon when we'll get the June meeting minutes. There's another meeting coming up at the end of this month, but they will be looking at this jobs report at the end of the week. They also have additional inflation reports to look at before that next meeting. We saw their inflation measurement that the Fed uses shows core inflation was actually at 4.6%. We saw that report at the end of last week. That's barely down from the month before. So we do know that the Fed thinks there's a long way to go.
Sarah Ewall-Wice, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.